Hello, it's week 24. 24 weeks reflecting Talking Rugby Union. Wow, can't believe it's 24 weeks, but that's what it's been. And of course, thanks for all your help. No Six Nations last week, but Six Nations this coming weekend. Looking forward to all our rugby. Well, hello there. It's Seniormash. And guess what? More rugby. And I'm looking forward to talking to you about what I've seen this week in rugby. And it's been quite a lot, to be honest. So let's start with, well, what do you think? It's got to be National League Rugby. Always is, always will be. I know the last 2 weeks has been Six Nations, but we're back to it and looking forward to it. So here we go. And thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, giving it the thumbs up. Much appreciated. I hope you're enjoying all of this. If you like it, please subscribe either on Substack or on YouTube. National League Rugby, but also good to see my favourite Talking Rugby using Facebook so well to talk about match days. As Defiled, one of the best on social media, and I think also Sedgley Park. But if you know others, please let me know. And National League Rugby over the weekend was dominated for me by Plymouth Albion versus Sedgley Park Tigers. And here's some footage. Sent to me from a friend overseas who was using YouTube, and this is direct from his TV. And it is. Well done, Sedge Media, Vinnie Morley, absolutely superb. National League at its best. And not only is there National League Rugby, there's some uni rugby, there's a little on box kicking, as requested by those of you who subscribe, and what I've seen on social media. So let's start with what I've seen on social media. Plenty going on social media. As I shared earlier, some real good protagonists using social media, but also plenty of books, Super Rugby, demand for Mark Jones to become Welsh coach, and what a result in Super League. 0-0 turned out to be a 1-0 win, Lee versus Wigan Warriors. Wow. And what a landmark day for Mark Island up at Sheffield Tigers. 200 appearances. And don't forget Howard Hughes, stalwart of Lancashire and North Rugby, travelling to Spain to watch Spain versus Georgia. Well done. And take a look at the archives, and here we have Talking Rugby from 2015. Enjoy. Go on, Frank. And there it was, a try for Tarleton, courtesy of Frank Scoffitch. Great to see. Great to see action from the archives, and also great to see women's rugby, both at Bucks Super League level and the PWR, getting plenty of attention on social media. We'll be doing more work on women's rugby in the next few weeks as I look at some of the sevens rugby that I've seen over the years and how I think that's helped develop women's rugby here in England. And big shout out to Bristol Bears, cracking game against Quins. Well done, all the players. And as I've said in a number of these presentations, rugby union and respect go hand in hand. And again, I just want to call out 2 examples. The first, Tom Dunn at Bath Rugby. Congratulations on signing a new contract. Well deserved. Cracking hooker. I think he deserved more England opportunities. And if you've ever seen Tom's England appearance on TV, the emotion just says it all. A great guy. Very, very privileged to have met Tom in 2010 when he was playing at Bath University, and I was pitch side when they were playing Swansea University, and I took a photograph of him running down the wing, and Tom asked me whether he could have a copy of that photograph, and a year later he said, that's still on my bedroom wall. So Tom, really well done. Bath Rugby couldn't pick a better guy to represent them. And I always like showing this photograph of my son Max and Tom playing together at Bath University before the days of Buck Super League, but nonetheless uni rugby. And a second area of respect is for Sedgley Park Tigers. You can see Matt Riley talking about his son, who has been going down watching every one of his dad's games, but still has time to participate in sport. And here he is experiencing professional rugby league. And cracking tweet, Matt, well done. But Sedgley Park Tigers really do try so hard and succeed. And let me tell you, at Sedge Media's approach to live streaming has been a revelation for National League Rugby, and Vinnie Morley's efforts on Saturday down in Plymouth were extraordinary. And I can't speak highly enough about the guys at Sedgley Park. Hat tip, chapeau, keep it going, guys. Keep reinventing what rugby union's about. And I'm sure you'll get the thousands down to watch, just like Saturday at Plymouth. And take a look at some 2016 action, Sedgley Park Tigers, and enjoy. From the archives, previously unseen Sedgley Park Tiger action. As I said, all of it from 2016. That's action from a game against Colby, and here we have a game versus Starbridge. Steve Collins looking very excited with that try, and on to a game against Leicester Lions. Surprisingly, it's not Johnny Matthews scoring that try, but maybe one later. And here we are at Hayward Road, Sale FC versus Sedgley Park Tigers. Meanwhile, at Park Lane, the home of Sedgley Park Tigers, we saw the teams running out. I think that was moved out, and then on to Sedgley Park Tigers themselves. So you know Sedgley Park Tigers are one of my favourites. And of course, one of the other favourites is Johnny Matthews. And in that undergrowth, there is a tiger. And that tiger, now with Glasgow Warriors, scores tries. But here's one from the National League. You may have seen him score a similar try versus the Ospreys over the weekend. Go on, Johnny, keep scoring those tries. And at the request of one of my Substack subscribers, I'm going to try and discuss one of the most debated tactics in modern rugby, that is box kicking. Love it or hate it, it's become a fundamental part of the game. But is it always the right choice? So here I'm going to debate the pros and the cons of box kicking. Let me know what you think. Just drop the comments in, subscribe, like and follow. But let's weigh up what exactly a box kick is. It's usually a high, contestable kick. It's usually executed by the scrum half from the base of a ruck, a scrum or a maul. The aim is to gain territory while allowing the chasing players to compete for possession. So I think it's important that we take a look at what the advantages of box kicking are and why it remains a crucial tactic at many levels of the game of rugby union. One of the main reasons teams use box kicks is to gain territory. A well-placed kick can push the opposition back while keeping your defensive line intact. Then there's creating a contest for possession. It's important that unlike a long clearance kick, a box kick is often kicked high to give chasing wingers a chance to compete in the air. This can lead to turnovers or knock-ons, putting pressure on the opposition. Defensive pressure and a kick chase strategy is very often part of the game, so good box kicking can be a defensive weapon. If the kicker times it well and the chasers apply pressure, the opposition can be forced into mistakes and be isolated. And finally, getting out of danger. When trapped in your own 22, a box kick can be a safe way to clear the ball without risking an interception or conceding a scrum or a penalty. It allows time for the defensive line to reset. But as many of us amateur rugby watchers know, the box kick can sometimes backfire and you can end up giving away possession. Made even worse if the opposition has a strong fullback or wingers that will simply reclaim possession and counter-attack. If the kick's too long, it also eliminates the contest. If it's too short, it can be charged down. And let's face it, we all know poor box kicks invite unnecessary pressure. Predictability in attack. Well, over-reliance on box kicking makes a team predictable. Opponents can position players to counter-attack or disrupt the kick. Failure to take into account windy or wet conditions can make box kicking even more risky, and the ball can very often lead to knock-ons and very poor chases. So that's the pros and the cons, but when should you use a box kick? Well, let's consider 4 points here. And first of all, you need to have your chasers in position. Absolutely critical. If they're not ready, then it's completely wasted. So the scrum half really does need to understand his chasers are in position and that they have a reasonable chance of contesting. But you really see most teams using this when they're under pressure and they need to relieve defensive stress. When the opposition's back three are out of position, this can very often create havoc and give huge opportunities, creating space that can be exploited. And very often when the game plan demands tactical kicking to slow down the opponent, you'll see people use the box kick. So, in conclusion, I think box kicking is here to stay. It makes us amateur spectators moan and groan on the touchlines, but it's part of rugby, and I hope you understand now why you need to use it. So it's a powerful tool when used correctly. It has to be used widely, and most of all, it can create scoring opportunities and win territories. Balance is the key, but done poorly, it hands possession straight back to the opposition and invites pressure. So that's the end of week 24 with me at Seniormash, and I hope you've enjoyed my different look at rugby. And for those of you getting ready, enjoy the Six Nations this coming weekend, but get down and watch live rugby.